right. So coming back in, man, I want to talk about some of the hottest players. And what I mean by the hottest players is who came out with fire behind their name. All right. And the reason why this is important was because of the fact of what I said before. I felt like this was the most important Olympics, a most important rugby event for creating actual developing attention for rugby worldwide, impacting in the US first, but worldwide. And it all started. We know who's the front runner for this one. It's clearly Ileana Mar. Clearly Ileana Mar. And you know what? Shouldn't be that surprising because she did this in 2021 for the 2020 Olympics. That's where it started. A lot of people try to be like, oh man, it's just kind of popping up around the Olympics and she just started getting all the attention. No. She did that with the behind the scenes and really doing it all. And what makes it funny is that it actually was two of them that were doing it. It was Cody Melfi, who we've done the interview with, and it was Ileana Mar coming out of it. And that was the first time where we saw like World Rugby decide to actually jump on a train of social media and actually be like, oh, maybe we should help promote one of our players to actually doing well. Not just like, sitting back and doing nothing. And I don't like the fact that they tried to jump in and act like they did anything to do it, as if Ileana hadn't been doing it the entire Olympics and really got herself, I think at that point it was almost 900,000 in terms of 900,000 followers in coming out of the Olympics and just doing behind the scenes and having fun and just showing like what it was to be at the Olympics during COVID. I have said consistently that that rugby needs more stars and it needs to address those stars. Like they need to present them. And obviously with Ileana, they made it easy because she did all the walking labor and then, was able to follow through. But from 2020 until now, she was rugby famous. Like there was a few people that knew about her, obviously, because she had a large following on TikTok and did that. And she obviously has been very, very consistent with her message of body positivity. But this year, because of now the bronze and everything else, she is now famous. She's mainstream famous. I think she's going to end up being in movies. I said this on the show, The Rugby Odds, with Matt McCarthy and John Bradford Layfield and Steve Lewis and George from Ireland. I think Ileana Mar is going to actually be the first active rugby millionaire in the US. And I think might be the first active rugby millionaire for women's rugby. The only reason why I'm not saying overall is because obviously there's been some contracts that have been made by players to get to that status. I think like Dan Carter with the top, like in the top 14, this is normality, Premiership, we see that. But like, I think this is the first time that we're seeing it where it's not getting paid because taxes are done super differently in like they are in France, and it's just billionaires wasting money to waste money, and it's not a payment that feels like it is a slow, steady drain into oblivion like it is with the Premiership rugby, and really just the contract is $1 million, but they're not like getting paid $1 million a year. No. I think Ileana Mar is going to be paid millions of dollars per year. And I think she's going to be the first legit rugby active player millionaire, not made their money after they played and did other businesses. She will be an active playing millionaire. And she has the greatest lead up because not only did she just get the bronze and be able to get the attention in the Paris Olympics, but we got Los Angeles coming up next. And if the US can medal again, let alone win gold in Los Angeles, it is nothing that she's not going to have access to. I genuinely believe that she is going to be probably the single most important game-changing force for USA Rugby. And it is funny because I'm not going to front. I'm not gonna front. 2019, didn't think it was gonna be that. I thought she was charming. Like if you guys ever saw like the videos that her and Naya did in the past, I thought they were very charming. You know, she was always funny. She was always very, you know, Midwestern kind of humor kind of girls, kind of say the same content she was doing, just doing it on YouTube before. But I always thought that Naya was probably going to be the bigger face, or you know, and then of course I always felt like Perry Baker and Carla Niles was. But no, this has been different. Like, I'm used to people knowing about Perry Baker and Carla Niles whenever they would show me their highlight videos, right? It was their highlight videos that was always like coming through. Oh my God, they're so fast. Oh my God, this is what they can do. That's amazing. And I would get that all the time. But this was the first time that I've seen Ileana Mar in mainstream conversations that have jack shit to do with rugby. They have nothing to do with rugby. If you guys look on Twitter, and I mean, if you want to, you know, some of us, you know, still going through threads as well. Even threads, like Ileana's name is not synonymous with just rugby. Like, she is in it of itself a normal conversation piece. Like, I saw a video of her doing the on Fandango, and them asking questions on Fandango. If you don't know what Fandango is, that's the movie app where they are basically you can buy your tickets and keep the schedule of movies, etc., like that. You know, you got with her and Tom Brady, like, yo, I swear, up with Travis Kelce. Obviously, absolutely, you know, dominating in that, where being able to have that friendship value. My goodness, like, it's just, yeah, exactly. Travis Kelce here with Travis Kelce. I'm not Travis. I'm sorry, Jason Kelce, the former lineman for the Philadelphia Eagles, brother of Travis Kelce, who's dating Taylor Swift. It's wearing Ileana Mar merch, like playing rugby with her dad. Like, this is just some old Midwestern love product off of bronze. And again, this isn't bronze like we're gonna say this like a pejorative. Like, this is legit bronze. Like, we broke a glass ceiling, and I think there's legitimate money that can be made from there. This is a capital investment that happened, not just from the woman from the Washington Spirits who did the 4 million. Like, she is a part of the conversation with Good Morning America. You saw it. I'm seeing people like just talk about her like it is like she's my favorite player ever. Like, she's my favorite. That's what people are doing. Conversations innocuous to rugby. That's when you know you actually have a legitimate star. That is what a legitimate star. And now, and I hope she's ready for it, she's going to be on the watch. They live in San Diego, so she's right within that proximity of that paparazzi. I'm sure her management squad is already setting things up, and she's going to have, we're probably going to see her in a lot of commercials, and give her the credit because she's been doing the same thing over and over and over and over. She preaches body positivity. She preaches dating. She talks about dating, and then she makes humorous jabs at herself while trying to also be as authentically in front. And again, the whole thing is how much rugby had been holding that back. I give a lot of credit to Emily Bidwell for not being the type of coach to try and hold that back, because that is a beast for the development of rugby, not just women's rugby. I mean, rugby in general. And if you're doing it in the US, which is why it was so important, and I will say this with every breath in my heart, that the dumbest thing that the US could be doing is that they put all their energy into winning or just getting to the quarterfinals of Rugby World Cup in 2031 and 2033 because it's on home base. But nobody has said a damn thing about LA 2028, the event where you have the single highest amount of producers, sponsors, media people, the highest amount of eyes that will be watching the games. Undoubtedly, like, say what you want. I don't think that rugby sevens in itself is going to be is a profitable venture, but I think that rugby sevens in the Olympics is a massive profitable venture. Like, it is a massive profitable venture. And that is where you change the game altogether. And now you distribute everybody to their respective silos. And you didn't have to work anything to get LA 2028. Winning the Rugby World Cup is great for the rugby world. Like, it's good for world rugby. It's nice credibility for establishing some connection with foreign sponsors. But winning the Olympics is life-changing. You know how we know it is? Look at Usain Bolt. Look at Michael Phelps. Look at Simone Biles. These are all people that were very innocuous prior to their performances in the Olympics. And after the Olympics, absolutely dominated. And of course, it also helped that they were dominating as well, too. These two go intertwining together. Add to the fact that Ileana probably now is somewhere almost at 2 million followers on Instagram. So it's the added following. She's got the audience. She's brought pedigree to the US. She's dominant at her play. She's a highlight reel. She's a characteristic reel. This is what you're supposed to be nurturing and cultivating. And that is what we call hottest player. All right. That is cultivation that you're supposed to be able to do. That is what you're supposed to do as an organizing body. My goodness, it makes me so angry that that hadn't been done before, but I am so god dog happy that this was able to happen, and what it will result in for the U.S. as long as they keep doing it. And USA Rugby could even get themselves out of this stupid brokenness that they're in, this bankruptcy, if they play the game right. They need to make sure they're investing in that sevens. And more importantly, they need to make sure that that men's team is gold ready for 2028. Don't get them. Don't be worrying over here 2031, 2033. That is the least important big event that we have. 2028 in LA, the single biggest media market in the freaking world, having the single biggest sporting event in the world, and being the home team to be able to represent that. If you do not put all your energy into that, I like you don't want to win. Stop listening to English people. I think that's the really big key. Stop listening to people from the UK. People from the UK who do rugby know nothing. At least the ones that are in leadership and who have been consulting. Because the amount of effort without actually really promoting a pathway for 2028 is wild. And with the men's side, we're starting all over. We're starting all over. What a horrible time to start all over again. Oh my goodness. Oh, my chest hurts. But yeah. I put Ileana Mar as number one. Number two, I have Portia Woodman. But again, I actually, man, it was because her highlights started going through, and it was really fun. Not that in the rugby world, we've already known she's been a beast, 10 years, end of her career. We know Portia Woodman, by and far, is the greatest women's rugby player of all time as of right now. And I don't know if it's going to be anybody who's going to be popping through anytime soon. Easily the greatest, most decorated, but I mean, she's legitimately the greatest women's rugby player of all freaking time. It is unbeknownst. And I will say one step further. I think she's the top 10 all-time rugby player. All bloody time rugby player. She is a legend. Her accomplishments have been are basically going to be unsurpassed. I don't know if anybody can be that dominant again. And nobody can be like, oh man, the women's side was just weak during her time. No, the women's side grew to its strongest that it has ever been, ever in the history of women's rugby. This is the best talent of players that have ever come across within the women's side. And she absolutely made all of them look like children when she was on the field. So I think she did. Anyways, the point is, I think she gained a little notoriety. We saw her highlights going through and really starting to make runs. But not to the extent of like Michaela, like Ileana. Like again, that's different. She's rugby famous with expectation, and I hope that as she moves into retirement, we get a chance to She gets a chance to rest the rest of the way. Now, again, sticking within rugby famous now, and what I think more so people that came out of this, that it's now I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do. Not so much that they became like world renowned, but they became more famous. They became much more prominent, and I think in the overall goal of winning. For really for France, I think Joseph Sefo. I think he's a star. I didn't really know that much about him prior to it. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm pretty confident that man is a star. And I don't know if there's like his play was remarkable. This dude just owned the edge. He was just big, just big, big for no reason. Big, tall, strong. Like, what else can you ask for? When it comes to that, big, tall, strong. And I think it was. I'm trying to be able to get to the men's side. Here we go. That's what I want to go to. Like I don't know how I'm looking up how old he is now. But for whatever it's worth, he was I think he was much more of a game changer than I expected him to be. Jordan Sefo, not James Sefo. I'm sorry. Jordan Sefo. He's 25, so he's young. Yeah. So yeah, I think he really broke out on this one as well. They really utilized him. And then on the other side for the U.S., I think Lucas Lecamp. Man, that guy has a motor on him. You know, again, he's technically been with the team for 2 years, three years now. Out of UCLA, he's English and Filipino, I think, or English and Singapore. I forgot the other one. I think English and Singaporean, but like man's got a motor. Man's got a motor on him. Like, I thought he was a dynamic player, great tackling, great running, got a couple tries underneath his belt, got some really game-stopping scores. Like, we're losing Perry Baker, but man, I think he could be another like side leader. He's obviously not as fast as Perry is, and not as quick, but he's no slouch. And I thought he was great coming out of this. Like, this was one of those people that the U.S. needs to build around as well. Get that big three out of it. The Madison Hughes, Kayvon Williams, and Lucas Lecamp. Oren Beezer would be on that as well too. I don't think he was as dominating as Lucas Lecamp was, but he was still a good performer coming in a young player coming into it. I think he did an incredible job with it. And then for the women's side, I talked about her a little bit before. Amy Lee Murphy-Crow. Like, she's an older player. She's been around for, but like, she was fantastic. Yeah, especially she was like the one like major highlight for Ireland women when it all came down. Like, she really did pull it off. Obviously just wasn't able to do much because the whole team just wasn't able to get the win. But I thought she really stood out. And then Spiff Cedric. You know, that last play is going to go down in history. Like, that's the only thing that would have been better. The only way that play could have been more iconic is if Ilyona Mar had ran it. Like, if she had broken through and ran it for that 90-something yards, homegirl's getting a statue. She's getting a statue. But in the meantime, like, this should be like on the coin. Like, it should be a coin for this. So, you know, I don't know what to. I don't know really what more on that one, but like, let me know, who do you guys think were the hottest stars to come out of this for you guys? Who were the players that really kind of stood the test of time with this one and made you go like, yeah, you know, they're someone to be able to watch. They are one to be able to watch. So yeah, I'd love to hear it. I ain't convinced. Ride around in the city, black out the tents. Gassed up, they gon' let me fill up the tank. Don't you love a great ketogenic family? My name is Giftay Bailu. I'm here with Health Enhanced Food. I wanted to talk to you about one of our top baking mixes, and that is our ketogenic baking mixes. We got our ketogenic seed baking mix, our ketogenic almond baking mix, and of course, our ketogenic coconut baking mix. Now, what is so important about it being ketogenic? Now, for those who don't know, ketogenic means that it is utilizing low carbs to be able to eat from. The point of it is so that your body will naturally activate burning from your fat and be able to sustain off your proteins rather than feeding your body carbohydrates and your body simply burning that and you just don't lose weight. And so whenever you're doing that process, it's incredibly difficult. And of course, you're always going to have a craving for wanting to eat the breads and the carbs that you typically would have. With our keto baking mixes, you can have the pancakes, the waffles, the cookies, the cakes, the pizza crust that you absolutely desire without sacrificing the work, your diet, and obviously the results that you are trying to get. All our ketogenic baking mixes are gluten-free, grain-free, plant-based, and absolutely loaded with natural vitamins and minerals. We want to make sure that they are low net carb, they have no added sugar, they are protein rich, they have good healthy fats, but even more importantly, they have a low glycemic level. So for those who are diabetic and you're also still trying to find something, we have the baking mixes that are for you. And I'm sure you're wondering, why make 3 versions of them if they all are basically doing the same thing? Well, we wanted to make sure, as always, that we are trying to specialize to your dietary need. So with our ketogenic coconut, we wanted to give you a version that allows you to have a sweeter bread without sacrificing your diet. But it provides you things that you can make with your cakes, you can make your cookies, but you can be able to not have to lose your mind trying to find things that can satiate the taste without ruining your diet. With our ketogenic almond baking mix, that is one that has probably the highest protein content. It allows you to be able to control your blood sugar levels, reduce your blood pressure, lower cholesterol levels, and of course, it goes to promoting weight loss and being able to control the hunger. And for our ketogenic seed, this is for those who have a nut allergy and they can't take anything like the almonds. So we want to give them still the same thing. You can still make your bread, you can still make your pizza crust, you can still make your cakes and your buns and your muffins, but you don't have to worry about having an allergic reaction. You definitely can go check out the ketogenic line of products at healthenhancedfoods.com. Go ahead, keep up with your diet, get the foods that are necessary to keep you going, and let's get the results that you absolutely deserve. Let's go.